We are live. This is Talking Touchdowns. The channel is Nuke the House. Quite a weekend of football. So first, I'll admit I was wrong. We had some pretty good games this weekend. After the Texans game, I thought I was victory lapping. Right, that game wasn't super close towards the end. Texans had a nice first half. But overall, it's like, kind of what I thought, one team way better than the other. But I thought the rest of the games were fantastic. I thought they were really good football games. So I'll admit when I was wrong, and I was wrong about that. And let's dive right in to what we saw. Tyler is with me. Overall thoughts on the weekend, Tyler?
Yeah, it wasn't very fun gambling, but entertaining football. That's about it.
All right, let's talk about something that we saw. Let's start with the Texans and the Ravens. It was 10-10 at half, and the final score was 34-10. What did you take away from the second half of that Ravens game? Ravens have been poor second half all season. Sometimes shows why you can't just blindly bet trends, because if you had a Texans ticket, especially that money line ticket that I know that you had, Tyler, you had to be feeling pretty good knowing how this team had performed in the second half of the season, in the second half so far this season. But they kind of turned things around. What did you think of the Ravens' performance? I thought they looked pretty good, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, they look exactly like the team they've looked like all year. I'm still going to say it because it's just the way I am about that team. I'm still not sold on them. They're like the Raptors when they won the finals that year. I was never sold on that team until they held the trophy above their head. So that's where I'm at with Baltimore. I mean, sucks. Houston couldn't get anything done. They couldn't even cover the 9.5 in the end. But they got building blocks, so they'll be a team to be reckoned with in the next few years.
I had to unblur my background just because my cat's looking so majestic sitting behind me. So I thought it was a great season for the Houston Texans. They did everything that they wanted to do, especially trading away that number one pick to get Will Anderson, right? What a disaster that could have been if they were in Carolina's situation. But instead, they've established their quarterback. That trade looks to be pretty good because Will Anderson is going to be a disruptive edge rusher for probably a next full contract, right? You could get 8 good years out of that guy. And this team's continued to improve, and they found their coach. So let's see how they go to take that next step. But I would say both teams that lost on Saturday are both teams that have their fan base has the most to be excited about. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean, so you're not sold on the Ravens yet, and we're going to break down all 4 games, and then we're going to jump into the matchups. But I don't know. I kind of am. I kind of thought that was a good win, right? You made some good cases for the Texans, so you got to think that that's a good win by that Baltimore team. A game that I was wrong about, Tyler. I thought this was going to be a destruction. I thought well, not enough to make the bet, but I thought the 49ers were going to smoke the Packers. Instead, they were lucky to get that win. Jordan Love looked pretty good, and I know he threw the interception at the end of the game, but that's a tough situation to put someone in. I'm not going to downgrade him for that. McCaffrey, pretty good, but not necessarily what we expected. George Kittle looked good as well. Aaron Jones, once again, had another good day. All right, so we'll go into your comments, Smokestack. Let me just ask Tyler his overview of the game, because I don't know if I agree with Smokestack over here. What were your thoughts, Tyler?
I didn't know if that was my cue to go or not, but
yeah, I'm not the best hosting job today, bro. I'm too busy watching my cat in the background.
You're good, but I mean, yeah, I think San Fran was lucky to get out with a win. They need Debo. There's some stat out there where if he plays and makes it through the whole game, they're like 12-1 straight up this year, 13-0 ATS. When he misses, they're 0-5 ATS and 1-4 straight up. So definitely need him. They're not going to be able to run the ball against the Lions. The Lions' defense is more of a pass funnel. No one's been able to run the ball against them. Goff playing outdoors, he's like right around 500, so that's a worry a little bit. But As of right now, I'd probably take the 7 with the Lions in that game if Debo's not going to play. But if he plays, I mean, probably just the obvious teaser of the week, San Fran down to a pick, Chiefs up to 8.5.
You can get the Chiefs up to 9.5 right now.
Or to move up to 3.5.
Right now, Debo 50-50. Let's wait. I like the Niners here, but you're absolutely right. I think if he's not in there, I don't think I'm going to play it. Right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I wouldn't play it if he's not in there.
It almost feels like an NBA game waiting for that news, huh?
Yeah.
Only difference is these guys are actually hurt.
And we get a week.
Yeah. The other team that the fan base has to be excited about is the Green Bay Packers. They got to be excited about their future. I thought that was a great showing. I really thought the 49ers offense was going to look a lot better. Do we think that the Packers defense is that good, or should we be downgrading the 49ers offense? Because they failed to go over their team total. They didn't need expectations.
I think the Packers defense looked better than what a lot of people expected. I mean, I thought that the 49ers were going to be able to run the ball a lot better, but they couldn't. They were able to get some pass breakups too. I mean, they played better than expected. They got a good defensive coordinator. So, I mean,
who?
Green Bay.
Everybody hates their defensive coordinator.
I mean, from what I heard towards the end of the year, he did pretty good. So I don't think everyone hates him.
That's funny. Everybody hates him. That's like going into the game, a lot of people were talking about. I think I even made that joke. I said Kyle Shanahan versus Joe Barry. Speaking of Shanahan, smokestack. This is how we started the show today, Tyler. 49ers coach is so overrated and Purdy's overrated. Let's take that one by one. Tyler, do you believe that Kyle Shanahan is overrated?
I mean, not necessarily, but you got to win a Super Bowl eventually. You don't win one, you probably get the overrated tag put on him.
All right. My cat just left. I'm going to blur it out again. Do you believe that Brock Purdy's overrated?
Yeah, I mean, he does his job. I don't think he's one of the elite quarterbacks. He's got all the weapons. You just got to get it to him. So he's a game manager.
I think he's better than that. I think he's a really good player. I think that we're hanging on to that draft position a little bit too much, right?
I don't think so. I mean, you see the play diminish when these elite players get hurt for them.
But wouldn't that be on any team? Like, did the Vikings get worse when Justin Jefferson?
The quarterback supposed to, if he's such a good player, shouldn't he be able to play with anyone? A la Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, first of all, we're saying overrated. Where are we rating him right now? 10th best QB?
Hell no, he's not the 10th best QB in the league to me.
You think there's 10 better QBs?
Yes.
Are you putting Tua Tagovailoa in that?
No.
Okay. I was about to say, if Tua's on that, then no. Really? All right, we'll do that at a different time. I think he's better than people get credit for.
He's definitely Shanahan. He's definitely not a top 10 quarterback.
I think he is.
No.
All right, real quick, we won't spend too much time on it, but just try and give me who are you putting ahead of him?
I think there's what? Let's see, just on the AFC side, Mahomes, Lamar, Stroud,
Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow, Herbert. So that's 5. I am taking Dak over him. I'm taking Goff over him. I'm probably taking Jordan Love over him. Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen. That's 10.
All right. We're about 10. I think it really comes down to Dak and Goff. Jake Browning.
Cousins is better than
Who do you rather, Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy?
A healthy Jalen Hurts, yes.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to downgrade him.
I think Kirk Cousins is better than Brock Purdy.
I probably want Purdy more, but I can understand why you'd say that. I mean, the longevity and the consistency that Cousins gives you. All right.
I'd take Kyler Murray over him too.
You know what? I would have argued that a little while ago, but my Kyler stock has been rising. I think the kid's really good. Final one, and then we'll kind of move on. Baker Mayfield or Brock Purdy? Who would you rather have? Only for one season, because we know Purdy's younger.
Only for one season in that
For
San
next
Francisco.
season. For next
I'm taking
season.
Baker. After what I just seen, what he did with Tampa Bay, you put him on that same team.
I kind of want to argue, but it's hard. He's playing really well.
Stafford's another quarterback that's better than Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah, Stafford is. Okay, you're fine. You know what? I rescind that. I think he's pretty good, though. I think he's pretty good. So if Debo's in, Tyler, we're going to have an argument on Friday. If he's not, I don't think we will. Let's move to what we saw on Sunday, as we had two pretty good games. Now, the Lions pulled ahead at the end of the game, but if I were to just say, hey, that was a bad game, I'd be arguing in bad faith, as the kids like to say, because the Lions put it away at the end, but it was close the whole game. Tampa was competitive. They went into the half tied. They went into the fourth quarter tied. Got to say that was a good game. Baker Mayfield established himself as, like we said, definitely a top 15 quarterback, definitely a guy you can build your team around, and you can't say that Baker's the reason that they lost. So that's a positive for Tampa Bay. I think it would be shocking if he doesn't come back next year, but I know that technically he's a free agent. So good performance from Tampa. Overall, I'd say that exceeded expectations this season. Their win total was 6.5, and they won 9. And they found a guy to lead their team. So I thought it was a good season for the Bucs. What did you think about the win for the Lions, Tyler?
Yeah, I thought it was a decent win against a solid defense. They were able to move the ball somewhat well. They were able to run the ball against a team that no one was able to run against all year. And they came up with a couple turnovers. I think that's the kind of defense they need to play this week against the Niners. So the big injuries for them, though, is Frank Ragnow went down again. He needs to play. If he's out, I think that's even more important than Debo on the other side. So keep an eye on that news.
Oh, my gosh. He went down too?
Yeah.
I'm looking that up right now. If he's out, I might just lay the 7 right now.
But yeah, I would just keep an eye on that news. And
I wrote Debo Ragnow. That's a great name. All right.
I think Tampa's got to stick with Baker, though. I agree there.
So he sprained his knee, but he's expected to play on Sunday. He has a sprained knee and a sprained ankle.
Yeah, it's Monday. They don't play till Sunday, so we just got to wait.
Yeah. All right. Before we do the full preview of the next game, because obviously we're going to do that on Friday too, the game lived up to all the hype, dude. What a main event. How much fun was that to watch, Tyler?
It was fun up until the end. We should have got overtime. Should have been a thriller of an ending. Instead, we missed the field goal, and that's just how it ends. The Chiefs get out, don't even have to play it in overtime.
Yeah.
They move on.
I was shocked, but what did you think of the performance overall? Are you ready to upgrade the Chiefs? Because I thought they looked pretty good.
No. Buffalo's defense is still pretty banged up. They're going to play a much better defense. They just attacked the middle of the field. Kelsey finally caught 2 touchdowns. Let's see if he can do something against this Baltimore defense. If they can pull it off against Baltimore, it's going to be Mahomes just putting on an absolute clinic. So I don't know.
Which is quite possible.
Yeah, it's possible, but I think this could be the spot where their offense dies again. But who knows? I've been wrong on this team coming into the playoffs. And
I was watching that yesterday. Mahomes is so good. When they got shut down to the field goals on the first 2, and he was out there congratulating the field goal unit after everyone and just keeping a positive attitude, and they're down 10-6. I was like, this guy's such a good quarterback. Not only is he good on the field, he's such a good leader. I was really impressed with what Kansas City had to do. Where do the Bills go from here, Tyler? They're going to have to get rid of a lot of these players. They're projected to be $50 million over the salary cap. Did the Bills window close? I think that's stupid hot take shit. And as long as you got Josh Allen, you're going to be live. and they'll figure it out. And I don't think the window closed. I think they're going to be just as good next year, and they're going to do what it takes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I mean, I'd probably fire the coach, get a new coach, just get a change of scenery up there because we've seen the dumb decisions he's made over the years. But I mean, Diggs is probably gone. I think you see him move in the offseason. Probably get him more weapons. Spread it out more. Don't just load up on one guy with the money. Spread the money out. He doesn't need elite receivers. Just get him multiple weapons. He didn't have any weapons.
Because Gabe Davis is overrated.
Gabe Davis didn't play all playoffs.
I'm just saying.
He's the best run blocking wide receiver in the league.
Maybe. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, you got to be disappointed if you're a Bills fan. That game was right there for him, right?
Yeah, I mean, they should have went to overtime. They should have had a chance, but it's the Bills, so they always lose in dramatic fashion.
All right, and we're going to go more in depth on Friday, but let's just take a quick look at these lines right now. You know what sucks is I think the Chiefs are still the main event. And why do they put them on first? It shouldn't be the main event again.
I mean, it should, but it's you couldn't play the San Francisco game at like noon.
Why not?
Because they don't start football games that early. It would have to start at 1 p.m. their time, and I don't think they're going to play a playoff game at 1 p.m. on the West Coast.
We could start an hour early.
They're not going to do it.
All right. Well, I guess we found
out why. That's why they're lined up the way they are. The Baltimore games.
Now that you say that, perfect sense. I'm only thinking from an entertainment perspective, right? Like, wasn't that the perfect cap to the weekend? For example, if we had seen that game on Sunday afternoon, wouldn't have like the next game felt like a letdown, even though it was cool. I mean, I just felt like that was like the perfect way to end the weekend. All right, so the Kansas City Chiefs are plus 3.5. Well, it depends. You can get a 3 too. 3.5 for 3 right now. So depending on which side you want, that's pretty cool to be able to choose. Total is 44.5 Chiefs plus 163 on the money line, Tyler. What do you think, man? Like, where do you think we're going to end up on this game?
I'll probably just bet the Chiefs and see if they can keep the magic going. And I'll probably have them in a teaser with I'll probably tease both sides of the NFC game because I don't see that one being a blowout. I think you can get both sides of that. I'm not touching the totals in either game. I know that.
Yeah, I missed with my under yesterday on the Bills game. That was pretty disappointing. And the Texans under pushed. The Lions are plus 7 here. I think we already talked about it, right? We'll be on opposite sides of Debo plays. If he doesn't, I don't see how you take the Niners.
No, if he plays, I think it's the easy teaser spot down the 1. If he's not playing, I'm not teasing them, and I probably end up just teasing the Lions and maybe sprinkling the money on.
From 7 to 13?
I mean, if I think that they're going to win the game, why not just get the free leg of teasing them up to 13?
Yeah. You think they're going to win?
If Debo doesn't play, I think they have a very good shot at winning.
I don't. I am the 40. First of all, who do you think will win more games next season, the Packers or the Lions?
The Lions.
Okay. I just think the 49ers got a way better win on this weekend than the Lions did. I guess I'm just not that impressed by the Bucs.
I think you could argue both their wins are pretty much equal.
You think the Packers are equal to the Bucs?
I mean, let's not sit here and talk about the Packers like they're like one of the powerhouses of the league when someone had their quarterback ranked in the bottom 5 about 6 weeks in and also threw the team in the drain about 8 weeks into the season.
Why don't we just say that that's someone
I get it.
Wrong and is willing to admit that he was wrong.
No, I understand.
And is now
that,
changing
but
and not stuck to his priors.
We're not going to take 8 weeks of good football play and just think that they're just like this super good team again. Like they could start
Isn't
the
that
year,
what we did with the Lions last year? The Lions finished strong last year,
but
and
they
then
had
they were our
they had
favorites
the
going into the
roster
next
intact
season.
already. Like we knew they were going to be good going in. Are we 100% sure that all these young receivers and all these players for Green Bay are actually good? Like, would it really surprise everyone if Jordan Love stepped back on the field next year and he was like top 3 in interceptions, couldn't really move the ball? It looks like more.
Yeah, I would be surprised personally.
I wouldn't.
Just because it's not like just this sporadic improvement. Like it makes sense. Right? It's his first year as a starter. He learns from his mistakes and he gets better as he gains more experience. Like that makes sense. It's not like Flacco where he was like unplayable and gets cut by the Browns and then all of a sudden he's falling out, you know.
I'm not from week 11 on. I know he was great, but that's also 7 weeks of data. They beat a fraud of a Dallas team. They fought hard against a San Fran team that I'm not sure is the powerhouse that everyone thinks they are, because let's be honest, we talked about it. This team hasn't played a good football game in over a month. They barely squeaked past this Green Bay team, who's the first ever 7 seed to win a game in the playoffs. They lost week 18 to Carson Wentz. They played the Commanders the week before that. They sat CMC, so they didn't really play their guys. They got out of there with a win. They were never going to lose that game, but it's the Commanders. The week before that, they got blown out by Baltimore. Are we sure this is the powerhouse that we think it is, or are they just kind of skipping along right now, and could the Lions just kind of push them right out of the way?
I'm worried about the Lions on the road. I'm worried about the Lions outdoors.
I don't think that's something there. I mean, they're pretty much 500. Same thing with Goff. Outdoors, he's 500 in his time with the Lions. The only thing that the trends are going to tell you is that the Lions haven't won in San Fran since like 1970. And
Really?
they also, the last time these two teams played each other was the first game Goff ever started for the Lions, and Jimmy G was the quarterback for the Niners. I think you can see Jared Goff upset this Niners team and play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
everyone's all over this quote unquote conspiracy theory spread that the logo of the Super Bowl has.
Don't even bring that up. That's so stupid.
The red and the blue, where it's like, oh, it's going to be the Niners and the Ravens.
No, we're not bringing that up. We're going to talk about projections, what we saw on the field. Yeah, I'm just not sure. I guess the Lions win over the Rams was pretty good. They could have lost that game. I don't rate the Buccaneers that highly. I guess maybe I'm rating the Packers too highly. Maybe because the Packers maybe look so stupid against the Cowboys that I just that I think it's purple smokestack. I think that's why they think Ravens. All right. Well, there you have it. It's going to be a quick show today. I thought JC was going to be on here too, so we could argue some more. We're going to have to look into this more unless you just think that there's a number that's going to be gone that we absolutely need to get right now. I don't feel that way at all. No, I think that 3.5 is going to be there all week. And as long as you line shop, you'll get either one that you like in Baltimore. And I think there's going to be pretty even money on the Lions and the Niners. I think they did a good job placing that line. Maybe
to touch back a little bit on that Tampa Bay Green Bay comparison.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay beat up on Green Bay in Lambeau in December. Beat them by 2 touchdowns.
That's a good point.
So I mean, it's not like it was like a last year matchup. That was like 6 weeks ago. And that was in Jordan Love's
streak. And that was in the little streak of since week 9, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, Jordan Love he played a decent game, 29 for 39, 284, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but they also lost by multiple touchdowns. Yeah. On their home field against the Florida team in Green Bay.
Yeah, I stand corrected there. Yeah. All right, well, we'll see what to do. You don't think there's anything we need to place right now, right? These numbers aren't going anywhere. This isn't like week 15, right, where we need to lay the 7 now because it's going to be 7.5 or we didn't chart it, but I'd say we got like 66% of the line moves right.
Nah, we'll be fine. I don't think anything moves on us.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for us today. Unless you had any other overall NFL thoughts.
No, I think that's pretty much it. Sucks that the Buffalo futures died, but Buffalo's
I know, bro, and all my best underdog teams had the Bills too. Dude, I had one where I had like every single skill player of them.
Guess Mahomes is going to get us spread.
Will he do it again, though? That's the question.
Probably so.
Bro, I won't be surprised if Kansas City won.
No, I mean, I agree.
Pretty good. That defense looks pretty good. So, who do you think has the better offense, Baltimore or Buffalo?
Probably Baltimore. I feel like they just mesh better right now.
Yeah, probably. Feels like kind of the same team, though, right?
Similar, but
they run the ball pretty well. There's one target that we really like, and the rest we think are kind of blah. Right? Yeah. Like when you did your breakdown earlier, who was the only guy we were worried about? Zay Flowers, right? You're like, Odell gets 2 or 3 cool catches a game. Rashad Bateman's terrible. Who else do they have?
Mark Andrews.
Is he going to be back? Does he even play?
If he's not, then Likely would just play. So, I mean.
Well, Likely's about the same as Kincaid. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think he's a little better.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah. Clyde wants to talk about the Diggs drop. Do you care about that at all?
No, I mean, he's been dropping balls since like week 6.
Bro, it just sucks. This happens to us in gambling too, to talk all that smack and then just fall right in your face. Because that's how I feel like he's dead.
Yeah.
They want him back. But the hard part for them is just going to be adding weapons that aren't rookies because they're so far over the cap.
They could probably get some older guys, but I don't know what they do right now.
Yeah, they're going to have to do like a little soft rebuild. But NFL's such a quarterback league. As long as you have Josh Allen, you're going to be in the playoffs every year, assuming he stays healthy. It's a guarantee. I know he got close this year, but it just shows it's almost a guaranteed playoff trip to have a quarterback of that caliber.
Yeah, they'll probably always be a playoff team, and if they miss, they'll probably just barely miss. But you got to get him some weapons. He can't win it by himself.
Clyde is just trolling us now. All right, Tyler. Any more thoughts on the National Football League?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it for me, Spread.
Yeah, we'll be back Friday with our full breakdowns, right? I mean, I haven't really looked into like the stuff that I've been trying to bring lately, which is more how the players do against the specific coverages that the teams like to run. You know, like let's all look up how Goff's done against some zone because I know the Niners were primarily zone. Let's see, let me look some stuff up on the Chiefs and the Ravens. Do you remember the last time that they played?
I don't think they played last year. I think it had been 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, is that even going to help us?
Not really.
And then,
yeah,
I mean, it's just like, so we're going to look into all that stuff and really come with some in-depth breakdowns on Friday with some statistical analysis. Right now, we're just kind of talking through what we saw, like a couple of fans, right, Tyler?
Yep.
Not everything has to be about placing a bet. So I do have 3 NBA bets for tonight, so make sure you guys are checking that out. Final words, Tyler, before I end this stream.
Yeah, I mean, just be ready for Friday. We'll have more information, and we'll actually break down the final 2 championship games and who we pick for the Super Bowl on Friday.
All right, and NBA will be on FanSpeak tomorrow. We'll be back on this channel on Wednesday with the NBA rundown. We will see you then.